Hey guys, welcome back. On this episode of ProNoobRC, we are starting our ProLine Blake Wilkie buggy. Never had a two-wheel drive slash. I've had 4x4 slashes. They're invincible. Everybody loves them. They're great trucks. But I've never had a two-wheel drive. Never really been a big two-wheel drive guy unless I'm racing it. And then still, I really didn't have that much fun, so I quit racing it. So, we picked up this one from our buddy. It's got a whole bunch of stuff done to it. And actually, it turns out it also came from our friends over at Simply RCs, just like our black Jeep JL with the green rims. You might have seen them on Instagram. That Jeep, you can find them on Instagram, YouTube too. This is a build that they put together actually probably a number of years ago. They sold it to another one of our friends, Ryan, and Ryan probably had it sitting under his bed or in his shop for like probably the last couple, 3-4 years. So it's got a lot of cool stuff on it, but it's definitely needs some work. Yes, it does have skis on the front. I guess they're trying to make a snowmobile. We might actually keep the skis and use them on another project. I was thinking actually just putting these underneath my A-arms on my X-Max to help keep the front end floating through the snow. But we'll get into something like that as we go down the road. It's got red RPM arms, but the main problem with this thing, besides like the cool ProLine skid plates and all that junk, is it's the old high center of gravity chassis. So we went over to our buddies at Eliminator RC. Picked up the main part of the build, our Megalodon body for ProLine Racing, part number 3563-18, and this one is in the, I believe they're calling it the Tough Black. Oh, Tough Color Black, yeah. So this is the Desert Buggy Blake Wilkie Edition, Tough Color Black body for slash two-wheel drive and slash four-wheel drive. Now I wanted to keep this like Blake's buggy and have it as a two-wheel drive. Put some soft, sloppy suspension on it, have it out there banging around, slopping around, looking good like his rig. So inside, you obviously get the body. Now there's a few areas you gotta watch out when you're cutting out, like this little piece here, and I believe this little piece here on top. They all get screwed onto other places on the body, so you don't want to just go and chop it all out really quick. You want to pay attention and actually read and see where they come out. I'm hoping the destruction's in here. Tell you where that is, but we've already watched. Yeah, you can see there's the shark fins on the back. Those are obviously going to go up here on the side of the hood right here, or the side of the cab. So you got to watch for that stuff. Make sure you're not just hacking her out. And we're hoping it's in the destructions of where it all goes. If not, we'll figure it out. It's pretty simple. So let's yeah, so let's see what else comes with that. In hindsight, it probably would have been cheaper just to buy a new style slash, because this one has 4x4 arms and all that stuff on the front, which was just more parts we had to buy to fit it. That was fun. Yeah, okay, we got a couple of nuts and bolts, a couple more nuts and bolts, a couple more, a couple more, a couple more. Okay, so we got 8 sets of those. And then yeah, your basic decal package. The nice little, it's a full wrap for the body, so you don't have to worry about painting it. It's in the Tough Black, which is, the Lexan is black itself, so when you scratch it, and you're not going to knock the paint off. You got Wilkie Man here himself, and you got the, I guess, optional side window with the skull or whatnot like that. So, yeah, pretty dope. I guess this is just another front window you can put in. Oh, then I guess you put them on top of the wheel, right, to line them up in there. Okay, I see that's working. And then you got this Wilkie from the side too. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And here we go. The destructions we're looking for. And yes, they tell you right there, do not trim this line. This is the trim line. Cut this piece out. Cut those out. Yeah, that's just one big piece that wraps over the side. And okay, you put it on and it makes a fender that sticks out. So you can see that's one big piece here. You see it right there. So that's going to be a pain in the butt. You make sure you don't run away with the scissors. You cut that real nice. There's your 2 shark fins on the back. And yeah, a whole bunch of cutting and trimming, get that out. Comes with some really nice decals for the engine detail. You got the belt, you got the catch can. Catch can. So yeah, definitely really cool. A little light bar decal on there. The big XComp Gladiator. Pretty dope. It's going to be very cool when it comes together. Now, for the wheels and tires, TRAXXAS recommends you run their 2.2, 3.0 short course tires. So the wheels we're going to go with are going to be the 1.9. I believe these are a method wheel from Axial. These come with the Axial 10.2 builder's kit, I believe, or one of the kits for the actual 10.2 Jeep. We have a bunch of the wheels we always upgrade to Vanquish, and we keep things like this for builds like this because they're perfect for that. You don't need a heavy wheel for a buggy. So we're going to paint these guys hot pink with the blue bead lock and some gold bolts on it. It's going to look incredible on there. And then I got a couple different sets of tire. We're going to kind of play around, throwing them all in there until we find the set we go with, and then we'll glue them up. So before we get into the body, we got to start with the chassis. So to convert this buggy from when they first designed it to when they've redesigned it, they've made a conversion kit. This is your TRAXXAS 2-wheel drive / LCG conversion kit number 5830. It's a chassis conversion kit, low center of gravity for the / 2-wheel drive. Unfortunately, they didn't have it in black, so I had to buy the black replacement chassis to go with that on all the parts just to make it black, because we're super anal about things having a flow. A black and blue doesn't go together for us nicely. So while we're there, we decided to throw some RPM front steering C-hubs, thank you, some knuckle steering hubs on the front, number 80372. And then we went with the steering knuckles caster block for the TRAXXAS. It's 80712. And then the front heavy duty A-arms black. These ones are 80242. I think that thing has like wider front arms in it for some reason. These are definitely not as wide as those, so good thing we bought a whole new front end for the truck, because I think that's going to be an issue. So then, because that truck down there has steering knuckles and hubs out of a 4x4 slash, just with a rustler or something, we had to buy the new axle pins for the front, or front axles. New hardware kit to put it together. And to wrap off the build, we're going to go with the proline body mount system that uses those little thread-on caps for that extra clean look. Instead of having the body pin, you get an extra clean look. You put an O-ring underneath it, you tighten it down. Money. Beautiful stuff. Like, it does look okay with their wheel and tire setup they went with, but it's a little bit too big. If you go look at Blake's Buggy on YouTube or whatever, most places you can just punch in Megalodon Buggy, the second one that'll come up. There's another race buggy for some reason that comes up first, but who knows. It's got a smaller wheel and tire on it, and that kind of works with the size of the vehicle because it is just a little Volkswagen. So we're definitely going with the 1.9 and give it a wider looking stance. A smaller tire just makes it look a little bit more beefy. So let's start by gutting this buggy. So yeah, this buggy's got mixed match shocks and suspension all over it. I got some big bores on order, some TRAXXAS big bores for the slash coming. I'm just gonna huck those in there when they show up. If anybody wants that body, let me know, you can have it. Cool, so we're sitting with a Castle ESC. It's just a Sidewinder 3. I believe Sidewinder 3 was pre-waterproof. Or Sidewinder 3. No, Sidewinder 3 might have been waterproof at that time, eh? We'll find out though.
We shall find out.
And it looks like it's paired into some kind of dynamite motor with a green tag on it. Some kind of pile of garbage, I assume. Safe to assume it is probably trash. Should have probably bought a servo while I was there too today. That sounds like that's going to be fried. Okay, so basically you need to tear off the front, the back of the buggy, take your servo out, disconnect your servo horn, pull out your radio box, all that good stuff. You all seen this a million times, you don't need to see that. I'm going to work on this. Why don't you guys check out what we're going to do to the set of rims, getting that ready in this next clip, and we'll come back to this after that. Hey guys. So we got a little carried away with our plan where we're going to go paint the wheels and kind of show you the process on that. Took a whole bunch of messing around. I couldn't get the right color fluorescent pink. in a spray paint that I was looking for. All I could get it was an airbrushing paint, so I had to go back and clean out my airbrush and yada yada yada. We were going to do the build for you on the camera, or sorry, on the channel for you guys. We were going to throw up the build, but after all, it is just a slash build 2-wheel drive conversion. You've all seen it many times. We didn't do much custom. Cut the front bumper a little bit just to kind of make it look more pre-runner style, and just put some 1.9 rims and tires onto it. These tires are stock axial SCX10 kit tires, SCX10 2 kit tires, and the tires are Pitbull Berserker, which are a UTV tire, which was perfect for the build. We ended up going with a Reefs 422 HD V2 servo in there with a nice Reefs billet horn. This truck does had the red TRAXXAS branded billet steering rack. So then we went through, we put all new turnbuckles in the nice blue color all the way through, all new RPM arms, front and rear, RPM rear shock tower, new new TRAXXAS low center of gravity chassis. Only thing I forgot to get was a rear bumper. So I'm just gonna probably run a little wheelie bar or something on there. Yeah, so it was a bit of a mess. We were gonna just convert that slash and hopefully put the body on it, but once I started going through that other slash, I realized that the only parts on it still slashed were probably the shock towers and front bulkhead and chassis. Everything else on that one was from a Stampede, the rear, the motor, not the motor, but the the arms, the axles, arms all the way around. It's just kind of a mess. The turnbuckles in it were just mix and match kind of stuff put together to make it work, and like for the use they're going with it, it worked fine, right? But we're looking to do something a little bit more small, a little more refined, no big paddle tires and skis or nothing. So we wanted to kind of bring it in to kind of fit the body. For us, fitment is more, we're more worried about scale than looks. So as long as, you know, the vehicle has a nice stance, that's why we didn't go with the big fat tire that they recommend, because it does look a lot better having that small tire sitting up on this body. So it's gonna look good. Ultimately, I want to get my center of gravity sitting kind of about there, get it sitting nice and low, and I can have lots of nice flop up and down in the front end. Just for putting it all together, I just crammed all the spacers that go on the shocks. I just jammed a whole bunch of into it to kind of make it stiff just while I'm working on it. I can kind of play it around. That way it helps me get dialing in my toe and my camber and all that stuff in it. This rear right carrier is bent and twisted. I put it in the vise and tried to twist it back and it won't go, so it took a really good hit to get there. So pretty much, yeah, we got the body done. Now, like I said, when you're cutting it out, you gotta watch these little shark fin deals. There's two of them right at the back of the body. Boop, boop. You gotta cut them out. And then those guys bolt to the sides, one up here. And this guy is for this side. And like one right here, right? So you gotta watch for how you're putting them in. Make sure you get them bolted in. They give you all the little hardware in the bag. Don't lose any of it. And then these cool little Fender doodads. This guy still needs to be peeled out, but yeah, so you cut them all out. You gotta watch. It's got a lot of little angles and cuts on there. Take your time, cut it out nice and sand it. And then this goes up on here. Boop, right there. And looking mighty fine. So yeah, it's time to start throwing on the wrap kit from Proline. They give you very detailed instructions here. It says, well, thank you for buying the Megalodon body. Start at number 1, work your way around to the final number, which I think is 45 or something like that. And you can also use a little bit of water to put it on, squeeze it out. Now, I don't like to do that. It can become a problem. And before you install all your little body trim fender flares and shark fins and stuff like that, get all these guys put on. You got, I think it's 3 pages. 1, 2, and 3 decal sheets to throw onto it to get her laid out. So you can see it's got the nice greens and pinks, which will go great with the wheels once we're done. So yeah, I'm gonna go bang this out. You guys don't need to sit there and watch me put this together. There's no real tips besides make sure you just put it on good. No dirt, sand, hair, bubbles, all that stuff. I'm going to clean down the bench completely before I start, clean everything off, then take the truck out, wash the body, with hot soap and water. Always wash it, even though it does have the plastic film on it. You still want to wrap that. Even though it still has this, it still could be a little bit oily underneath. So you still need to go wash that in soap and water. And yeah. Okay, there we go. Definitely getting at it with this wrap kit. The wrap kit is fitting very nice. Probably one of the better actually factory wrap kits that we've installed, even aftermarket. We've dealt with a few from other companies where you've got large gaps in between all your stickers. We've got these guys seamed up right up tight. They got a nice bit of overlay into them. They're flowing really nice. They're sticking really well. So, you know, washing the body is helping out obviously a lot with that. You can see you got your pedal commander decal in the front, the Shreddy up here on the fenders. We got the Heatwave Media logo up on the top here with the proline. Yeah, we got the side windows on, we got the front window. And like I said earlier, I take my blade before I pull it off the decal sheet and I cut it all the way around. So I lay them out and yeah, pretty much cruise through and cut off any excess. Like this Wilkie works on the bottom. This guy here actually ends up on the bottom of the chassis, so there's no point cutting any excess around there. All the window ones are done, and all these black vinyl ones, not that one actually, but I think these, no, it seemed like the hood ones were like a different material. Almost more of like your, more of a wrap material, so. But anyhow, yeah. So yeah, we're pretty much, we're done the first page. We're on to 16, 17, 18. So we're gonna get into doing these big side panels right now. This will be a big boy. Another way I like to do these guys is completely cut the sticker out. That way we can kind of do the, cut it all out, line it up, lay it on, peel one side back, you cut the paper from behind it, you put it back down, and then you work the paper out from the other side. That's one really solid way to make sure you get good laydown with the decals there, right? So I like to just rip off the excess around it. Once I get it down like that, go through. There's little circles here for, I imagine, is going to be these boop, 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 these 3 holes right here. So that's going to give you something to line up off of, which is nice. So let's get rid of those. And then just make everybody's life easier. I like to pull back this paper to like pretty much right up to the edge of the sticker without cutting into the sticker. That way I can get my placement on point. You don't have to go all the way around, but it helps. You can do just the front edge, the bottom line, do the front edge, the bottom line. So when you line that up, you know the rest is going to be banging on point, and then just pull back from there. It's not going to kill us to go in there and just knock out the rest of this paper. So, and that way we can see and visualize everything is lining up right where we want it before we pull the pin and drop it into its final place. So, the other option is to use the water float method and put them on. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I don't really do that on anything, unless it's a real large one, but like a motorcycle or a jet ski. But like even on my jet ski, a lot of floating, a lot of cleaning, all that, you know, and then the decal doesn't want to stick as good once that water's been there. So yeah, I like to just try to get it on without. But you know, when you're dealing with something like my jet ski or side-by-side or whatnot, the panels on them are very, you know, like 3 feet by, you know, 2 feet and stuff. So I'm gonna go through, I'm just gonna nip out the paper on these 3 little cutouts here and the holes there. That way we can line up everything really nicely. So we got some scale ideas for this buggy coming up when we're done. We're gonna do the exhaust that he has coming up out of the back panels. We're going to add some matte black, like the shark fins are going to go matte black, the over fenders are going to go matte black, a bunch of little parts like that. Just add some detail into it, add another level of detail. Flat black and gloss black look fantastic on any paint job really together. So, okay, so we got our decal whole panel cut out there. We got the notches in the top, the 3 holes there. You want to make sure that's got as much cat hair as you could possibly get in there before you start putting this down. Then you look at, you can see right there, if we line those guys up there, we drop him in there. That guy runs down there. This guy all the way across back there to that line. We get a nice line there. Not bad. Their marks are off here. This decal should be riding a little bit higher so it intercedes with the body line, or even a little bit more forward. So it kind of gets up in there a bit more. And if we go up to where it lines up, we're going to be much above those 3 rivets there. So, so far so good on the hood. This piece isn't fitting that wonderful. Let's check here where these notches are. Notch, notch. Yeah, see, these guys aren't lining up at all, but these guys are. This decal would have to ride completely not lined up to make that work. So, yeah, fun. But anyhow, you see we can hold it like that. We can get it lined up. I'm going to peel this side back. I'm going to peel the paper about this way back, about 1/3 of the way back. And then I can work with this side, line this side up, and then I can drop this side of the decal in, bring it back. Actually, I might just do the tip to start with, get that on point, and then just pull back from there. Probably just going to do the tip. It's a little bit easier to deal with. So I wish that lined up a little bit better from Proline, but whatever. Okay, let's bring this card in. Try to line her up. No, it's not going to fit terribly bad there. At least one of them lines up. Bottom one here lines up. These two do not at all. They're close, okay? We'll give them that. And you want to go back and make sure, look at, we got our line. This is now attached, and our line is running straight through there. You can see front part is attached on there. Line is running straight all the way across. You can see the nice white trim on there. Kind of helps line everything up. These guys are somewhat lined up. We're going to hit that body line. There's a body line right at the top of the door. I'm going to follow that and run that back. So now that's on there. You can see this piece. It flippy floppy like that. We're just going to pull back the plastic. You want to go through and make sure, like I said, you just spread all this cat hair in there. No, you just want to get all that junk off. Make sure it's all good and clean. You can use a microfiber or your hand, but just make sure it's clean before you get too crazy. We want to do this with no air bubbles, so I hold it like this, and then behind here I just go back and forth with my thumb, working it not right to the edge, but just the middle back, yeah, almost all the way. I like to go about halfway, stop, and make sure that my top line is following where I've asked it to be, or where I intended it to be. Doesn't always go as planned, so yeah, and that's maintaining all the way through. Even when you get to this end here, you don't want to just whip it off, because sometimes it can stick down and cause a whole bunch of other problems. So that lined up perfectly. Now go through and then push yourself up to the top edge. Don't go on an angle when you're rolling over, because you'll cause a ripple. Just bring it up like that. Yeah, see, they're not bad. I was criticizing him a little bit hard there. I thought he was going to be a little bit worse. They're not bad. These guys don't line up at all. This guy kind of does. This guy, they completely missed it, but whatever. That's stupid minor things. I can imagine it's not easy to plan everything perfectly where it's going to end up after pulling a vacuum mold. So yeah, you just want to work that into that seam. If you got any air bubbles, work them towards these little guys here and here. Easiest to get out. Try not to use, I don't have long fingernails, so I can get in there with all part of my finger, but if you have long fingernails, you will hook and scratches, so don't do that. Okay, so that's looking good. I like to get my tri-stick bit lighter and take some heat now and just heat everything up to make sure everything's flowing in. All the corners are secured. Any of these air bubbles are gone. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna finish off the rest of the body decals. There's one more big boy over here, and just a bunch of other little odds and ends. We've got these method ones and stuff that go in the back, the Flowmaster crap like that, the big X comp that goes on the hood, but everything is pretty much just the hood, the sides, the top. I guess it's just all parts of a body, right? When we get to the engine stuff, we're gonna start detailing that ourselves. We're gonna sand that down, we're gonna paint that, we're gonna add in our own detail. They do give you stickers to put over top of all that, but end of the day, it's gonna look a lot better with paint on it, give it more depth and just a lot more scale. And then we are gonna be running some exhaust. Blake Wilkie's Buggy has the exhaust pipes coming out about, I don't know if you guys can see that black on, but these are the Lossy LMT exhaust pipes. We're gonna flip them up and mount them right here in this lower panel. I don't think you'll be able to see this, black on black, but we're gonna mount them into that lower panel, sticking out like that, just like Wilkie has them on his full-size Buggy. So we're gonna do that on both sides. We're gonna get these guys painted. So next time I catch you guys back here, I will have this body done, and we'll be talking about making it look better. And once we get it mounted on this chassis, we're gonna get outside, cut some footage with this. We'll take it out to the sand pits where it belongs and get some wicked video. Let's let me get this wrapped up, and we'll see you guys back here in a few for the scale detail portion of it. Okay, guys, we're getting there, slowly getting there. I got all the wrap dropped on the body. Now we're gonna start with the detail. I like to use Pro Mask. It's paper with tape on it. It's good masking tape that won't bleed. And then I also like to use my Tamiya branded Kamoe tape. Probably find this cheaper on Amazon if you actually look for it. It's pretty expensive to buy it from Tamiya, but this stuff doesn't bleed when you use the even the super thin paints on it that like to get in everything and run on it. So yeah, so grab my little sanding pad here I like to use. Okay, so we got the wrap on the front done. We got the wrap on the side, roof, all that stuff. Still undecided if we're gonna put Blake and that skeleton figure in here. You know, back and forth. We can put those on later, it's not a problem. So I want to start adding the matte black detail. Pretty much everything through here is gonna go matte black in the rear. I won't do the top of the pads here, or the top of the body where my turn down, little screw down things are gonna go, because that's just gonna make a mess and crack from the constant bouncing. But all the motor, all inside of this bar, I want all black. Actually, I pretty much want all this black, because I want these done in matte black too. And then I'm gonna cut out the stickers that they wanted you to put onto that and just put it on there just to add another effect. And then I'm gonna do the Fender Flares, and I'm gonna do the, what else is it? Fender Flares and the shark fins for the top edge of the roof. I got my piece of 600 grit sandpaper, just like we did on all the other ones that we've done. You just gotta go through and scuff it all up. Now remember, this body's been washed already before. You just don't want to make any flat spots. This is that same little piece that I keep hanging around. It's like, it was 600 grit, but it's pretty much just worn pretty much right off. It's just enough to scratch up the surface and actually not knock any corners down and kind of make funny shapes. So take a piece of 600 or whatever you're going to use and just keep running it for a really long time. 800 works good. 1000's a little smooth, but like, it wears out quick. The 600, it wears to about this point, and then it'll stay kind of here pretty much forever. So yeah, all these little bits and pieces all through here, all this. Let's go through and just scuff all that up. These side panels, all the way up through here. And I'm going to cut that off right there. We're not going to go up onto here. That's going to stay gloss. So up here is going to stay gloss. All across here, I think. So we're just going to come up like this and all across in here and back down. Yeah, so I can go through and sand that. We can mask it before, we can mask it after. Now this stuff is 8 inches with a piece of tape, which is pretty nice. That should cover the whole truck. You can get this at any graphic shop. I got this at our local powder coater around here. And yeah, fantastic stuff. Nice piece of paper, drop off, and just go through. Just so you're not covering everything in so much tape. Tape leaves residues, so you want to use as little as you can. Just kind of seal everything in. Okay, so we get all wrapped up, bring it around like that. We do want to cover that off, so I'm just going to put a big old fat chunk across there. We're going to come back and wrap this whole body up really nicely. So there you go. You can see we get the back wrapped up. We got that covered, so all through here and all across there is going to be exposed. And then we're going to sand all that down. I'm going to sand that down, and then we're going to hit that with TS6 matte black. We'll pull that off, and we'll come back. You guys don't want to sit here and watch me do that. You get the basic idea. Before we mark it out, don't let me forget, we need to mark out this lossy exhaust system. We need to make a slight modification. You can see that the 4 fingers aren't the same length, so we need to shorten up these two so they're all the same length. And then we need to make a template that has those 4 holes on it, so when we're happy we can make it. Oh, it fell apart. So we can put it together properly. Oh, I'll have to find that later. Yeah, so we can mount it on in the right holes. And then these are just going to get painted matte black, and I'm going to put a fine little dusting of some rust color on there so they look like the full size. Okay, so we got the body all wrapped up, taped up. I'm still going to put it, I got it in there pretty good. Seal those up, seal them down. For extra due diligence and security, I like to just put it inside a plastic bag, and I'll tape it up inside there too. Make sure all your seams are done nicely. I got the back all sanded down, ready to go for the matte black. And then I marked and drilled out the holes for my exhaust headers, which are going to stick, oops, there's that screw in there, which are going to stick up in that direction. You can see that against the contrast there, back here. So they're going to stick up like that out the back. So it's kind of hard to see, but whoop, right there. So I made a template just out of a piece of this box top from a Monster can, or cans. So this is the template for the piece that fits inside there. Transfer that onto some styrene. Kind of just kind of fit some pieces I had. I just had to trim them in there. Made 2 of them. Made 2 of them here. And sanded them with 220. And now this body is the ProLine Tough Black body, which is like it's pulled in a black Lexan. So I sanded that with 220 on the inside. Now I'm just going to set some shoe goo and a couple clamps to hold these guys in place for support for the exhaust. And after that's done, I'm going to go and start putting some matte black down on the back. There we go. Boom, get that one on there. This one goes on the other side, of course. Now by doing this is just to stop the pipes from shaking around so much in the Lexan and give the Lexan a little bit of strength so the screws just don't crack and immediately pull through the Lexan like they're going to want to do. Okay, so that needs to set up, and after that's done drying, we're going to put some paint on it. Then we can come back and drill through the plates and start detailing it, and that's what we get to make this thing really come to life. Adding in all the scale details on the body. It's gonna look real good. We're not gonna use any of the decals from the sticker sheet that for the engine detail. We're gonna paint all that in there, make it look really, really good. Okay, back from the paint booth. You can see the back of the rig there with the matte black. Everywhere will be sanded, and we got our plates in line here, nice and sturdy. Go ahead and drilled those out. And 3/32 drill bit, just drilled that out, getting ready for the headers. Now with the headers, they're a little bit long, stick it up too tall, and the dump on the header comes out the side, like that. This one I've already kind of started shaping the tip the way I wanted it, but it coming out the side is not gonna work. They're a bit long, but they got that little muffler section in there. So what I'm gonna do, what I've already done to this one, is cut that little muffler section out and turn that dump so it's pointing out the back. And then when we mount that, it's gonna just clear the top of it like it does on the full-size Buggy, and dump out the back. A nice little cut on that tip. It's gonna look really good. So I'm gonna go and cut that one. Simple enough. Get your razor saw, and you want to just slowly go all the way around. Start by removing the top tip, and then go remove the muffler, clean it all up, and CA glue it back together. Okay, so I'm going to get that finished, and then we'll get back to getting these painted. Like I said, they're going to go matte black. I'm going to put a little bit of just rust color onto them, and bolt them on the Buggy and send it. Yeah, and then we're going to go into painting the back of this after I get these pipes done. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I've already started adding some of the paint detail that I was just talking about onto there. As you can see, the sticker versus the paint looks 10 times better. Now that's only one coat of gold. You can see it's a little bit light and splotchy. You're gonna need to do 2 colors pretty much of everything to get a nice pop. Well, on the golds and stuff like that, your metallics. For the tubes, they're purple, and they're like a anodized purple color. You can see them in the picture here that I went and actually had to screenshot that from a Hoonigan video to get a good shot for the colors and what I'm working with back here. So it's an anodized purple color, and unfortunately they don't really make that color in paint unless you have a wife. You can just go get some from her collection of polishes. So I started with a silver base, and then I started putting this stuff over top. This stuff is crap, does not paint well. It's all globby and stuff. It's like painting with like candy. It just sucks. But the end result's starting to look good. I've kind of learned just kind of dab it, kind of let it flow on its own. So just something else to work with. Never painted my nails, so yeah. So we got a little bit of gold to put onto here. The throttle body's got to get painted gold. This shaft here will be silver. We're gonna do these hoses in a different color black. We'll use the brush on gloss black and matte black on those to kind of make it pop off different than the spray on. And then belt back here, these guys will go aluminum color. The rad will go aluminum. This will go purple. This is a little adjustable turnbuckle support in the middle on the full size. And then this guy here will go silver with purple detail on it too. So yeah, so I'm gonna get through and go with that. The colors we're using are flat aluminum is going to be the radiator and the alternator and the end of the pulleys and the shaft and stuff like that. And then the base here is chrome silver. This one actually chrome silver, and this one's flat aluminum. So those are 2 colors we're using there. The gold color on it is Tamiya X12 Gold Leaf. And we'll be using a little bit of red as some other detail, just some flat red in there as some other detail here and there. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of green, just kind of on top of the caps and stuff like that. So, yeah. For reference, you can use your deco sheets. You can get some ideas on where things should be and how they should look. Like this right here should look like a pulley on the radiator. So kind of paint it to look like a pulley on the radiator. This was their air intake here. We have some pieces left over that we use for inserts from the Bronco grill. I'm just gonna put like 1, 2, 3 on there and call that good. And then we'll go over it and brush on some clear. And yeah, this here we'll paint that with a gloss black. We'll paint that with a gloss black because that's silicone rubber tubing. So that will all kind of start to pop together as you get it going. The beauty of having a matte black base like this that you're working up or around, is if you do screw up, it's really easy to brush the matte black over top of it and fix your mistakes. So yeah, besides that, we got the side fenders sanded out, sprayed up and done in matte black. And we got the Sharky fins here done in matte black also too. So that's just a matter of screwing those on. So yeah, I'm gonna get this painted and we'll pop back in and check back when it's done. Couple tips we could always use in painting. Tamiya makes tape in all different sizes. I wouldn't recommend this for, this guy got dirty. You want to keep this stuff clean, keep it in a bag, keep it in its own drawer. I found this in my office, so I don't know. It's filthy. But right now we're in the final stage, so a little bit of cat hair I can deal with, but this is fine for doing brush, like a thicker paint, but you wouldn't want to use this on a aerosol paint right now. So, but yeah, for like your long straight lines for the radiator on the top, you can use this. You can drop in all the way across and get a nice straight line. So you're not messing around too much. Just speed up the entire process for yourself. Little things like that help you out. So you run that with the brush, done. I'll probably get Jesse to go around the fans. He's a better painter than I am with the brush, so yeah. Hey guys, okay, well that's gonna bring us to the end of this video. I went through and finished up all the brush painting in the back. Sorry I kind of jumped ahead a little bit and I was gonna show you all the detail, but my brush painting skills are a little shaky and stuff. They're nothing fun you guys want to look at, so it's enough to get the job done. Everything looks good and tight in the back. We did the gold up here, we did flat aluminum there, flat aluminum on the rad. On the rad fans here, I actually took these from an axial kit, cut the bottoms of them off and screwed them in place. And remember, the pipes are off the Lossy LMT. They look fantastic the way they're sitting in there, both sides. Yeah, so basically, yeah, just take your time and do some nice added brush paint. The purple on there you won't be able to find in an RC paint. I actually had to go get some nail polish, some deep amethyst nail polish to get that color. So we might play with a few different wheel and tire options on it, but otherwise, yeah, loving it. Oh, and the gas cap on the side here we painted, instead of using a sticker, I just painted with the same purple and put a little bit of silver detail on it. And yeah, so I'm gonna get this guy back outside. We'll go get some more ripping footage like there was up in the beginning of the video, and yeah, send it. And we kind of have plans for another one of these bodies, which involves cutting up the back and probably doing our own work in the back, just so stay tuned for that build. It's gonna be pretty cool. Hey guys, Keith, Jesse, we got out the Shreddy Buggy finally. We got some sunlight. See that? Look right at the sun, right there, the sun. So yeah, we came out here to one of the pits we like to play in with our side-by-sides. We figured we'd bring out the Shreddy Buggy. We got a cool hill here to kind of do some wall riding on. And we brought out the X-Max. We're gonna try to get up, do some backflips off the top of there down or something. So we shall see. But anyhow, we got some camera mounts set up on old Shreddy Buggy here. We got one on the front, one on the top. So we're gonna mount this up on there and go get some footy. Okay, well that was one heck of a build, you guys. Really enjoyed it. Really, my first slash, Jesse's first slash, I'm sure of it. A lot different. I've never really liked the TRAXXAS slash, but with the new low center of gravity chassis and all the RPM parts on it, we got the reef servo in the front for the steering, and with the brushless power, and with the dope looking body. It is such a fun little buggy. We got the antenna on there just bashing around, whipped the crap out of the GoPro a bunch, got ran over, stuff like that. It was a great time. Paint on the back held up great. That's all that brush paint we put on over top with the purple nail polish to get all the colors in there. We got our 710 cap on there, or oil, or 710, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, everything came out perfect. We got the headers on there. Took a couple tumbles. Didn't break the header pipes off. They're pretty sturdy because remember we put styrene behind the body to beef that up. The wheels didn't hit the body as much as I thought they would. You can see they hit a little bit. Remember, we do got these towed out pretty aggressively in the rear, so when she squats down, they're just tucking inside. Look at that. Oh yeah, butter. So yeah, when it's up like that, it does look funny, but most of the time you're on the throttle and the front tire's up, so you're kind of riding with them kind of towed properly. And yeah, held up really good. The handling was a lot of fun. We only had it running on 2S today because to fit a 3S in these rides, you need to convert the battery box over to a strap system. We're running the stock wishbone kind of tie down deal in there right now. So I got that in order from the great people at Eliminator RC, and I'll go pick that up next time I run into Winnipeg. Yeah, the next couple weeks or so. Wrap held up good. Like I said, a couple of tumbles on it. Lots of dust. Lots of dust was silly. The wheels, the paint held up good. I wasn't sure how that was going to hold up because the paint on the wheels is fast color airbrush paint. I let it dry for a number of days before I cleared over it, and we went over it with a semi-gloss clear. Just kind of lock it in, gave it 3 coats of clear over top of the blue and the pink. So I think it's looking fantastic. These Pitbull Berserker tires, we thought we were going to have trouble because we didn't have paddles on it. Man, they hooked up and threw roost like you wouldn't believe. Very cool tire, very skinny. It's a rock crawling tire, as you guys are well aware, but they didn't balloon as much as I thought. Like if you pick it up in the air and freewheel it, they balloon a lot, but running on the ground, actually not that bad. Considering we weren't top speed running it, we're ripping through sand and sand dunes and, you know, like just giving it, you know, scale driving it. We're not just sending it, right? So you'll see in the clips that Jesse's going to edit up and throw in there. We had a lot of fun kind of doing a little wall ride kind of thing with it and stuff. And it quite honestly surprised both of us being two-wheel drive TRAXXAS slash. Never had one, so yeah, very impressed. It was a lot of fun. I was sure it wasn't going to go up much of the hills we pointed at, and it flew right up and roosting around, little wheelies on the top and stuff, only running on 2S. So next time we get it out, we're going to drop a couple teeth on the pinion, and we're going to go up a couple volts on the battery to 3S and kind of get it dialed in so it's not running so warm. Might put a fan up on the motor on the rear if there's room. I don't know if you could fit one on a TRAXXAS. Never seen that before. Not really. It's kind of buried in there. So we're just going to gear it down. Gear down, volt up, right? That's the adage in it. So, yeah, looking good. Yeah, so everything in the bottom held up. Like I said, the body fits perfectly on the truck, or buggy, or car, or whatever you want to call it. We were thinking about going with a wider offset wheel and tire, but after running it today and everything fitting just as good as it does, I'm going to leave it as it is. We're going to call that one done, and we're going to get some drive time in and some footage and a whole bunch of those Instagram photos and all that other good stuff. So yeah, so stay tuned.